Well, now having concluded the special town meeting over at the Walsh Common at the Lincolnville Central School, I would now like to welcome everyone to the Lincolnville Selectmen's meeting. It is July 8th. David, would you care to read the quote of the evening?
Certainly. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. James Baldwin.
Thank you very much. At this point, I would like to open the podium for any non-agenda items. Seeing nobody rushing up to the podium, I'm going to move along to the administrator's report.
The only thing I think I have to report is on the 4th of July festivities, which has an exceptional crowd, seemed to go off without too many glitches. Certainly the complaints received regarding porta potties, or the few that we had, we did have them pumped out early in the day and came back the next day, but you can imagine with the crowd that we had that 3 was not a sufficient number. And parking on both sides of the road up the beach road created a little bit of a bottleneck. People managed to get home and get out. Plenty of trash, but outside of that, those are the comments that I had received or observed myself.
Is there an estimate of how many people attended?
There was as many people on the beach as I've ever seen in Lincolnville. It was crowded.
Not that this is an agenda item, but perhaps we should consider putting it on a future agenda, and not that that event was our event, but we were the de facto host, so to speak. I'm wondering if we could get a conversation going now-ish in order to get some wheels in motion and start jointly making a plan so that we can reserve more porta potties, etc., etc. Okay. Sound good, David?
Yeah, I certainly would give a lot of credit to the people that put that together.
Absolutely.
They certainly did a lot of prep in advance, and we're still cleaning up stuff through the weekend, so
Yep.
give them credit there. But
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Okay, if there's no questions for David with the administrator's report, we'll move along to meetings and announcements.
All meetings are here on the town office unless announced otherwise. Planning board meets Wednesday, July 10th, 7 p.m. Cemetery trustees, Thursday, July 11th, 6:30. Board of Assessors, Monday, July 15th, 6 p.m. And the Board of Selectmen meet next on Monday, July 22nd, 6 p.m.
Thank you very much. Are there any upcoming community events anyone would care to share?
I do know that the Strawberry Festival is this weekend, but I don't have many details. I think it's at 10.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's, well, don't take my word for it, but I think I saw that on slide.
10. Starts at 10.
starts at 10.
10 is the magic
Check
number.
with the folks from the Center Community Church, but I believe it starts at 10.
Yep.
It is definitely Saturday.
Yes. Sounds good. Let's move along then to the meeting minutes from June 24th.
I move that the board approve the June 24th, 2019 meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And up next, let's discuss the draft of the supplemental charge to the Conservation Commission with specific reference to the brown tail moth.
Want me to discuss first?
Sure.
Just at your last meeting, you had a number of citizens express concerns regarding our current situation with an infestation of brown-tailed moth. Thought was to, at the time to charge the Conservation Commission to basically become our specialists and go-to people. And I put together a very broad general description of what you'd like done, and Conservation Commission got a copy of that, hopefully. I know you did. Outside of that, it's yours.
Does anyone wish to make a motion?
I move that the board approve and sign the supplemental charge to the Conservation Commission regarding brown-tailed moths.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Does the board wish to entertain comment from the public? Sure, come on up.
Liz Laycock from Youngtown Road. I just wondered if you were considering asking the Conservation Commission to file a public nuisance petition with DHHS.
Have you read the supplemental charge?
Yes,
Yeah.
because I didn't see it on there. The reason I'm asking is because that's where the funding will come from, and I noticed that the supplemental charge refers to funding,
Right.
which implies in that supplemental charge that the funding would come from the town. But there's funding available from the state, but you have to file this, and a lot of what is in this supplemental charge, you could get a lot of assistance from agriculture, conservation, and forestry, as well as CDC, to get a lot of this stuff done
Mm-hmm.
in that process. That's
Mhm.
all.
Mhm.
So I just wondered about that.
It wasn't really specific in that, but trying to keep it, I mean, you certainly can't add to this or subtract from it, it's yours. But kind of thought that fell into the catch-all of eye of the identified partnerships and things we could or should be doing with state or other regional efforts.
Yeah, certainly this language is not meant to be exclusive of anything, but more to get the ball rolling as quickly as possible, without encumbering the process as being limited to when we meet. Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Sure.
Thank you.
Any other further discussion? Yep, sure, come on down.
Arlene Jarwitz Layton, Lincolnville, Maine, Youngtown Road. I just want to thank you very much for working and putting this forward, because I really feel that a very comprehensive view of what's happening is important. And I just want to mention whoever is on the Conservation Committee, I'd like to be able to help out in whatever capacity I can. And David has already mentioned that he listened to it, and that is the WERU presentation that Rhonda Feynman was a friend of mine and said, hey, what do we do a show on it? And let's see if we can get Dr. Groden to speak. And the day before her show, she agreed to it. So it was kind of a quick kind of turnaround to have her come on. But I just want to say I think she gave a very up-to-the-minute, up-to-date, comprehensive view of where we are with the infestation in our state. The last time it was this extensive was 1915. This critter's been around for a while. And so I just want to say that on the bulletin board, since I teach 3 online science courses, I've kind of started a little study group of how can we help each other. And while the committee is going together with what they need to do, which is very important work, you know, I've just been fielding questions, also been in contact with Dr. Groder around some of the things we've discussed. And I want to say that right now we're in a stage where we have a wonderful fungus, which I've actually, whenever it rained this spring, I would say, yay, go fungus. And actually it is starting to, we're finding kills. You know, we're finding that it's having an effect on our population. But the infestation is so big that it may not totally put it down. there are a lot of areas where I feel people need to kind of, and I think I use the term citizen scientists, need to be able to understand what they're looking at. I was talking online with some citizens were saying, well, I found that they arborists came over and all my caterpillars are dead. And so I showed them a picture. Is this what they look like? Yay, they had the fungus. Now, did they tell you had any cocoons? What are they? And she looked in the back and she saw some cocoons. So I think it's one of those things of being aware of your environment and being able to help people to understand what they're looking at. The other thing I want to say is even if, and I'm hoping that we won't have any moths this year, which would be great. Unfortunately, the cocoon, once it's fully formed, will not be affected by the fungus. So that's one thing, if you see the cocoons around, then you know that they've made it through this stage. I did do some research with CDC regarding health concerns. There's no research on if you can become immune to this, although we have somebody in our neighborhood who seems to be. There's no research if you have it continuous exposure. What will that do to you? Will that cause a chronic condition? And I have been in touch with a few people who have had multiple exposures, one person for over 3 years, and they have had severe reactions. So we know that the toxins are going to be in the air for a couple of years. So it might be good that and again, this is one of those, I talked to somebody and they said, well, when do we have to be concerned? I said, well, it depends. It depends on the air. It depends on the water circulation. So it's a huge problem. And I think it's probably one of those things where we need to look at getting the state to get on board and start to track who has problems, because it's bigger than our town, I think, and our town should be involved. And maybe if we don't have the CDC is not tracking it, it may be up to us to start to do that. And I know that a lot of people can have it and I'm fine in a day. Other people have it and it takes weeks to recover. So it's one of those unknowns, and I really appreciate all of you coming to the fore and trying to help, because it's new. It's only really been in the fore in our state on a cyclical basis for the last 5 years. So there's not a lot of help out there. And Dr. Grodin's University of Maine Foundation is going to be putting up, as far as I know, that's what they told me, they're going to be putting up a crowdsource funding for her research. So I am really asking everybody to support that. Okay, well, thank you for your work.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And thank you. And before moving along to appointment of municipal officials, I would just like to say to the board that I feel remiss in not being able to complete all the homework that I wished to complete in order to have a comprehensive conversation with regards to some appointments. And so I would ask the board's indulgence to table this item until our next meeting.
I have no issue with that.
I too have not had adequate time to do what I feel I need to do so as not to create the perception of a rubber stamp approval, and for lack of a better way to say it, and I don't want that I don't want that to get out there, so, I agree. I would like this to be moved to the next meeting's agenda. I think there needs to be some conversations, and looking through some of this. We've got people who've been doing this for years who have asked not to be reappointed, so I think it's important to try to have conversations with those people, see what's going on.
Okay. And that being said, with respect to, say, a couple of individuals here in this room, that, you know,
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I certainly hope it doesn't imply any sort of lack of confidence from the board, but
No, that's-
rather.
That's not what I'm doing at all.
I would love the extra time because I've been in the middle. I'm on a day off mid-tour right now. Like I happen to be here, so I would love the time to
Does
do
that,
proper.
does the board wish to apply that also to committee reappointments, expiring committee terms? Or just appointment of municipal officials?
Well, that goes into what I was saying as well. There's some
Okay.
people
Yeah.
that I would really like to touch base with.
Yep.
Um,
Okay. We do have an interest form here before us. Does the board wish to consider that?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is a general nodding of the heads to move this to our next agenda of the meeting of the boards of selectmen, board of selectmen? Okay, David? It's all right.
Sorry with me, just up.
You don't need a motion.
If you wanted to make a motion, that would make it cleaner and neater and everybody would know in the future.
Can I have a motion then? So it would be,
Table agenda items 7 and 8?
Yeah.
To the next meeting?
Yep,
Yep.
Second.
moved and seconded. All those.
John made that nomination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those in, any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. Let's just move, this community interest form then, just to keep it neat and tidy.
Okay.
And perhaps we can invite the applicant also. Should we have any questions?
Can I run down the hall and grab the other thing that I didn't put on your table
Yes.
for the next item?
We need that little like boop, radio symbol thing to put up on the screen. Like,
Yep. So the whole thing, so the community interest.
both,
It's
yeah,
all- it's all-
both
yeah,
7 and 8
all of
will
7
be
and 8,
bumped
okay, yeah.
to the 22nd.
Great,
Yeah.
great.
It's been a wild couple of weeks.
Yeah, I've been hearing through the grapevine, getting some reports from.
Summary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to see paving bid?
So this is moving on after having tabled agenda items 7 and 8. We are now considering our paving bids. It just came in, which is why it's here
Hot for
before
us.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, so this afternoon we had bid opening for paving. The apparent low bidder, after doing all the math, is Wellman Paving from Winterport, who's done our paving occasionally in the past. I'm trying to think, the last time was when we did Slab City Road. Bernard said they've done Searsmont this year, Belmont, and he thought their work was satisfactory, as did I from the past. And the bid prices are certainly within budget and would recommend Wellman Paving.
Would anyone care to make a motion?
I move that the 2019 paving bid be awarded to Wellman Paving of
Winterport.
Winniport for the unit prices bid.
So moved
Second.
and seconded. Any discussion?
I'm just curious, what is our budget for paving?
The paving budget was $280. A couple of these items, The last two, the shoulder box and broom, and the gravel comes out of a different, comes out of Public Works instead, because it's the shoulder work. So we're about, what,
Under budget for
Yeah.
paving specifically, yeah.
10 grand or so under what we thought.
Yeah.
And it is based on, as you can see, the unit prices, so if there's more tons or less tons put down, we pay for what's actually placed. But anyhow, and I apologize for this, for handing this out to you, but with the holiday, we got postponed and bid opening till today, so.
Yep.
And I didn't wanna wait 2 more weeks.
Yep. So if there's no further discussion, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And having had the special town meeting just previously, we have before us the current agreement on offer from Northeast Mobile Health Services to provide emergency medical services. Given that the voters approved Article 2, we now need a motion from the board.
I move that the board authorize Laidley Dunn as chair of the Board of Selectmen to sign on behalf of the town the 2-year extension by and between the town of Lincolnville and Northeast Mobile Health Services to provide emergency medical services.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
So is this the same language as the other towns were offered?
Yes.
Yes. And they were also offered that extension opportunity.
Yeah.
also.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. Any?
The only thing different, obviously, is the town and the dollar amount. Well, they
Yeah.
don't put the dollar in there.
They do not.
They do not.
Okay.
But the dollars are different.
But the dollars are what the dollars are. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And David, would you care to talk about the construction, demolition, and debris fee increase?
Sure. At the last Midcoast Solid Waste Corporation Board of Directors meeting, proposal was made to ask all 4 towns to adjust the fee per ton of waste deposited in the CD&D landfill at Midcoast Solid Waste, to go from $100 a ton to $140. We've seen a little bit of an influx with materials from apparently the city of Rockland's CD&D landfill is either now closed or closing, and our fees were well beneath the market, and they wanted to be at or near the market so that we weren't filling up our space prior to more examination being given to it. The board did also, as a temporary measure, limit the materials that comes to the CD&D landfill to just the 4 towns, pending each town's chance to look at the fees. The paper bag fee and the CD&D fee have to be approved by the boards of selectmen of the 4 towns in order to take effect.
Excellent. Can I have a motion?
We, the Board of Selectmen, members of the town of Lincolnville, move to put forth the increase request of the Midcoast Solid Waste Corporation approved at their June 26, 2019 meeting. That fee increase being for construction and demolition debris added to the facility landfill and going from a rate of $100 per ton of material to $140 per ton of material.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And we have the treasurer's and payroll warrants to approve and sign.
I move that the board approve the treasurer's and payroll warrants.
So
Second.
moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Hot on the heels of those approvals, I keep meaning to bring it up to the board, but I can't help but notice that there is the $4,500 that we put in the budget for security cameras down at the harbor. And I'm wondering if we can put that on a future agenda to talk about actually getting them installed. Lo, these many years later.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Does this fall under the with all due municipal speed category?
No, this does not. This falls under doing somebody else's job. Is there any other business the board wishes to address at this time? Seeing nothing, yeah, yes.
Dave, is there a letter, item number 22, just non-agenda, and have that for correspondence?
Regarding the Kendall Cemetery.
That's cut and paste.
That's
Okay.
what I thought.
Sorry.
Okay.
We had that in a previous meeting. didn't we?
It stopped
we did.
and you didn't have a number. Did you get a 21 too?
We
No.
did not.
No, that's a cut and
So-
paste, Dave Kinney, sorry.
So we're good.
Yeah, it
Okay.
stops at
Okay.
17,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
you.
If the board has no further business, can I have a final motion?
I move to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded. And any further discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much.
Don't forget to sign those and I'll go get that charge.
Okay.
Sign that too.
Thank you.